first Hand of God video, I demonstrated the relationship between herbs, the planets, and the Kabbalistic Tree of Life. The Tree of Life as an archetypal pattern is extremely important in understanding consciousness, particularly from a Western point of view. And we will be utilizing this tree in the explanation of how the spiritual aspects of this herb can affect consciousness. The herb stimulates the senses. Its crown and glory is hearing. Music becomes greatly enhanced. The senses are the elements the ancients speak of. We have 5 fingers and 5 senses that, in reality, are an interface between the inner man or woman and the phenomenal world. We believe we are the senses, but in truth, we are the soul that is moved by the senses. It is said that we must master the elements or overcome the instinctual man to awaken to the immortal soul. Christ was born in a manger, the house of the animal, the body, just like you. The herb stimulates the senses and instincts. With objectivity, the student of self-mastery can observe how the instinctual senses take one's awareness from here now to some fantasy. To be able to navigate through this wilderness is a task the spiritual aspirant can undertake with the help of the herb, although it is not necessary. Enter the quickening. In the magic tradition, there is the work of the pentagram, mastery of the elements. Before one enters meditation, the space is cleared by a banishing pentagram ritual. The Kabbalists have the tetragrammic key to create this environment. The 4-lettered name of God, we were created in the image of. These 4 letters are crowned by the spiritual fire, Shin, Shh. If you have ever placed a seashell to your ear, you shall hear its hissing. The quickening. This is creating the salt of alchemy, the transmutation of the animal to the soul, lead, satin, to gold, sun, soul, The path of Saturn is the world card, the wick of the sacred candle. The flame must be lit, the quickening. Heat releases the herb's spiritual component. The card shows us this. This fire turns solids to liquids, then gas, and the gas to fire. Earth, water, air, fire. It transmutes the elements, the energy. Fire is consciousness. For the Lord your God is a consuming fire. Fire suggests an all-consuming consciousness. This fire burns all that is separate from it and unites all things with it. The quickening can be understood as this fire igniting in us. In alchemy, the deadhead is burnt, creating the salt or bride seen in the world card. To create the salt, everything that can burn is burnt until nothing can burn. In our consciousness, this is our beliefs, the processes created that we identify ourselves by, our ego. At the end of each life, the ego dies, but the soul is immortal. The card of judgment shows this idea, where the soul awakens from the grave. This is the card of Shin, the alchemic sulfur, soul, fire. It is said all things are energy, vibrating at a different rate. If this be so, what separates is form and structure. These things are ruled by Saturn. The process of transmutation is within us. It is within our consciousness. When we enter the quickening, the deadhead is ignited, energized. When energized, it becomes active, brought to our consciousness through the planes of awareness corresponding to it. Subconscious material often finds its way into the events in our lives, so it can maintain its belief. The transmutation with this mind matter is performed via consciousness. If you are unconscious of it, how can you transform it? The quickening brings the matter to the surface in an energized manner. You would have noticed that the idea of the quickening in this video had the hint of hell. The flame is alive. It digests matter. Just like our soul digests life's experience. The Kabbalah suggests that the four divisions of the flame are synonymous with the aspects of our soul. The red-hot burning is the instincts. It is given the lower letter Hey, the life below. The blue-black flame is our mental and emotional aspect of the soul, the letter Vor. This is the aspect that connects the instinctual burning with the light above of the soul, the Hey above. The all-encompassing flame is Yod, the archetypal world. All things are contained within the true archetype. Listen to the silence, the hissing of the spirit in which all things came. Fear only God, it is said. If you observe yourself in a state of fear late at night, your senses are excited and your hearing acute. And if you listen, you will hear the hissing. Shh. This statement is telling you to be totally present with the hissing, with the spirit, the spiritual fire. The Kabbalah tells us that we cannot know God save through God's bride, Shekinah, Shh. The consuming fire. The quickening. The fire begins to burn. In this process, it is vital to maintain balance, the central path. The world card shows us this. The bride stands in the mandala, which is created by two circles or overlapping worlds. This is the symbol of the fish. I shall make ye fishers of men. The serpent in the center of the garden. The tree shows us the way of balance and harmonies. The herb is ruled by Saturn. If one uses tobacco with the herb, it will create an imbalance, for tobacco is ruled by Mars. They are both on the pillar of severity. To balance, we must go to the other side of the tree. Fear only God. Force and fear are Mars's, Gebura. To find balance, we must go to Hesed, Jupiter, who is benevolent, kind, and a higher consciousness. If one uses the herb in fear, they become frozen. And this leads to the negative of Saturn, melancholia, depression, paranoia. The opposites need to be harmonized for consciousness to ascend towards the light. The opposite of Saturn, Bina, is Chokmah, wisdom, which rules the zodiac, or the elements. To understand something, which is Bina, we must have, in some way, an empathy or sympathy with it. Something that connects us to, or reconnects us to the place where we can connect the dots. We must put the members that connect the dots together. Remember. This is a great key. The story of Osiris's death shows us this. Set murdered Osiris, cut his body up, and cast its members into the Nile. Isis had to gather the members' bodily parts together and put them back so she could resurrect Osiris, or remember him. There is an issue many who use the herb discuss: memory, or lack of short-term memory. With the initiatic arts, each stage has its trials. These trials, if the applicant is successful, give some degree of mastery. The quickening is a part of the ancient initiatic process. The path the herb takes brings us to face this. Memory. What is it? The Kabbalah gives us a vehicle to gain understanding of such things. The Kabbalistic language is the sacred language of archetypes. This was the one language that was in existence before the fall of the Tower of Babel. The Tower card is the Hebrew letter Pei, 80, the mouth. Kabbalah is known as an oral tradition, passed on from master to disciple. Popular today are shamanic journeys, where the shaman guides the seeker through a trip. Without this initiatic guidance, one can get lost in the mind. The ego thinks is real. Memory. Or E. Mem is silence, the creative waters, mind. To enter these waters, one must be still, meditative. Otherwise, one will not penetrate beyond the surface. Or unites above and below. It's a nail that holds things. Re is a new life from the seed planted in the fertile waters. The idea of remembering being associated with the story of Osiris and Isis hints at this key. Isis is the Great Mother. The Virgin Mary is considered a form of Isis. This is correspondent to Binah, the Divine Mother on the Tree of Life. One of her totems is the shell. The god Vishnu, the preserver, is pictured with 4 arms. Each hand has a sacred object, a lotus flower, a mace, a chakra, and a conch shell. A shell is a solidifying spiral, a home. This spiral archetype is evident in nature. The structured form, seen in weather patterns, galaxies. It's the way things come into being. Here we see some sacred geometry at play. Creation, beginning and end, Ouroboros, the hissing serpent ever biting its tail, the house, Bayeth. Bayeth, the magician card, the first letter of the first word of Genesis, creation, in the beginning. Bayeth is the number 2, but its audit or sound is B2, Y10, and Th 400. 412 equals 7. 7 days of creation, day and night, an archetype. A simple house is a triangle and a square. 3 plus 4 equals 7. 2 shapes. This is the sacred name, Yeshua or Jesus, the cross of 4 elements and the 3 nails that nailed him to it. The spiritual fire ignites the deadhead, the ego, the transcendence of death through the veil of Saturn. To remember is in a way to resurrect the dead. Isis gathered the 14 members, divisions of the body of Osiris. The fish ate the genitals, so she had to conceive Horus miraculously. The genitals are Scorpio, the letter Nun, the fish, I shall make ye fishers of men, said the Christ, who is in the same pattern as the story of Osiris. The fish, none is the death card. I shall initiate, said the Christ, fishers of men from the waters of creation. The 14 members Da Vinci expresses in this image. 14 is 5. The golden means, the spiral, the shell. This is the Tao, the way. Throw a stone into the still waters of mind, and the rings emanate in the golden ratio of the shell. Each spiral is a member, renewing its membership, remembering. Place in a still pond, a still mind, a stone. This stone is what you wish to remember. A wishing well, be ever the watcher's eye, and the ripples of remembrance spiral with a life of their own, the Tao, the way. There is much here for the contemplation. The successful practice reveals the way. When this is mastered, the way, the Tao, is entered. There is something other than the ego. The shell of remembrance, the prize of this quest. The doctrine of signatures tell us the way of this sacred herb. Focus the mind so duality has a path through, a central path. Master the elements, the senses, and control the phantoms that takes one's attention. In this manner, one can learn to determine truth from folly. To test truth, turn it into a stone by an act of concentration, awareness. Let it go like a stone dropped into the waters of creation, of mind. If it is truth, it will come again before your awareness as it unfolds. Be observant. Do not act. If it has life, truth, it will come again. Here you remember. Put the members together. Connect the dots. Be still. Surrender to control the ego. You enter the Tao, the way of the serpent of wisdom. Something greater than the ego. Something no one can own. The river is its own. Our lives are but bubbles within it. When the bubble bursts, there is only the river, the same as it ever was.